Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herold here on Badlands Media. I'm your host, John Herold. And for those in the chat, I do have a quick question. Yesterday, before Onlylands, I was chatting with Zach. We were having some mic issues. And so if you guys could let me know if you can hear me all right and if it's synced up to the video, that would be greatly appreciated. I know there's a little bit of a delay, but I'm just trying to figure out if everything's all squared away for me to continue with the show. So while we're waiting, I'm going to play a quick word from one of our sponsors today, little Mike Lindell. But that's what you guys are going to keep an eye on for me today, is if my audio is synced with my mouth.
I'm excited to announce that we're having a huge sale on overstock and brand new products. For example, My Pillow Percale bed sheets, every color, every style, every size, only $29.88. Our Percale bed sheets are breathable, cool and crisp, and they're perfect for spring and summer. And check out Rev 7, the next generation of energy drinks. It tastes great, and it gives you energy all day with no jitters and no crashes. Best of all, it's actually good for you. And for a limited time, try our 3-pack absolutely free. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% on our Rev 7 12-packs, or try our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. And our Percale bed sheets, all sizes, only $29.88. Twin size, full size, queen size, king sizes, all $29.88. Inventory is extremely limited at this price, so order now.
Awesome. It sounds like the audio is all set, so we're good to go there. I forgot to actually text Ash. I was going to have her come on today, so we might have to have her come on tomorrow for an update. She's at the trial again. Make sure you guys are following her on Twitter. She's putting together some great threads on that stuff. So yeah, support some Mike Lindell, mypillow.com, promo code Badlands. We also got one more sponsor of today's show, and that's Badlands ourselves. Badlanders, unleash your passion with Badlands Media merch. Dive into warm weather with Badlands-themed games and sporting goods, from ping pong balls to golf balls, hockey pucks to frisbees, and even a Badlands pickleball set. Love pickleball. Sip your favorite brew, whether it's coffee, hops, or whatever quenches your thirst, all while making a statement. Think rugged tumblers, sleek coffee mugs, beer steins, whiskey glasses, and more. Car accessories from vanity plates to car magnets and tech gear let you rep Badlands everywhere you go. It's not just t-shirts and hats. Our store is bursting with bold, high-quality gear to fuel your summer vibe. Check out these Badlanders rocking their gear. Join the crew. Head to badlandsmedia.tv/merch. Grab your official Badlands merch and spread the word loud and proud. Be sure to tag Badlands if you post your selfie on social media so we can say hi. Let's see how far we can reach together. That's badlandsmedia.tv/merch. I think we even got stickers out there too, which I love that idea. We can go post those stickers around so you guys can check that out. All right, guys. So I don't have any guests or anything today. So Patel Patriot, you're making me stare at your mouth. Yes. Stare at my mouth, guys. No guests or anything today, but plenty to discuss and some fun clips we'll go through. First up today, we got no update from the Doge website. Guys, I was digging around. This is totally off topic. And I was just thinking of the Doge, and I was going to post something earlier about how I could save more money than Doge in 1 second just by eliminating one thing. I was doing some research into this. I was messaging with Data Republican a little bit. I don't know if you guys know that account on Twitter. The rough estimate is that our government spends over $320 billion on like 501c3 organizations. I don't know if you guys knew that. That's an obscene number, and something that I don't think our government tax dollars should have anything to do with. If people wanted to donate to a certain cause, they would do it personally. They wouldn't need to do it through the government. But yeah, right there, we could save an additional $300-some billion for Doge just by eliminating anything that touches 501c3s. I don't know about you guys, but I think that sounds like a great idea. Nothing new to the White House website either, but we do got some Trump True Social posts. Let's go through some of these. Donald Trump, our deal with China is done, subject to final approval with President Xi and me. Full magnets and any necessary rare earths will be supplied upfront by China. Likewise, we will provide to China. We will provide to China what was agreed to, including Chinese students using our colleges and universities, which has always been good with me. That's kind of a lie. We are getting a total of 55%. China is getting 10%. Relationship is excellent. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Yes, they've been negotiating in London the last week or so. The Chinese students thing is interesting because there's that whole big kerfuffle, and I don't know why I keep saying kerfuffle. I've been using that word a lot lately. But there's this big fight over the foreign students at Harvard and the CCP and all these people that are infiltrating these universities. So the fact that he put that in there is kind of weird. But yeah, sounds like they got the deal done. And he had an additional post here. Adding to the China readout, President Xi and I are going to work closely together to open up China to American trade. This would be a great win for both countries. And then a story here from CNBC on this as well. Some Lutnick comments. U.S. tariffs on China won't change again, Lutnick says after trade talks. He assured Americans that U.S. tariff levels on China would not change from this point forward. He said that the China tariffs will be 55%, or U.S. duties. He said levels on Chinese import will not change from current levels. If the current U.S. tariffs on China are not going to change again, he said you can definitely say that. It compromises the existing 30% blanket U.S. tariffs on China, plus the 25% tariffs on specific products that also were already in place. So, I mean, this is good news. And I think this is the one that they've been waiting for. So I'm assuming now that this is taken care of, we're going to start to see a lot of these other trade deals start rolling in. Trump said he had over 200 of them ready to go. So let's see if that actually happens. Let's see if we get some new ones. We have the new CPI numbers came out. Great numbers. Fed should lower 1 full point, would pay much less interest on debt coming due. So important. But I doubt he's going to lower it. And here's the breakdown on that from CNBC as well. Consumer Price Index rose 2.4% on an annual basis in May 2025, up from 2.3% in April, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Inflation trends are largely encouraging under the surface and roughly back to the Federal Reserve's target level, economists said. So that line right there should be all the reason that Powell needs to lower the freaking interest rate. But again, I doubt he's going to do it. President Trump's tariff policy is likely to cause a reacceleration of inflation in coming months, economists said. And that's kind of funny because CNN has an article, inflation rose less than expected despite Trump tariffs. And I just think it's hilarious because Trump's tariffs aren't the problem. It's the media propaganda. They're the ones causing all the fear porn, which causes all the stock markets to go wild. But they've been saying that the tariffs are going to affect inflation, but it's not because they don't understand what Trump is actually doing. Let's go back to this. Annual inflation rate increased slightly in May as an uptick in grocery inflation somewhat offset lower prices at the gasoline pump. And while inflation was relatively tame, economists say they expect Trump's tariff, blah, blah, bullshit, swear jar. The Consumer Price Index and Inflation Barometer rose 2.4% in the 12 months through May, up from 2.3%. Here's the breakdown. Eggs, way up. God, I thought we had eggs under control. Apparently not. Coffee's up. Everything's up a little bit. Inflation still kind of sucks. To increase the annual inflation rate was largely due to data quirk called base effects. Basically, inflation 1 year prior in May was unusually low, making the May 2025 numbers look high by comparison. The monthly inflation rate paints a rosier picture and gives a better indicator of underlying trends. CPI, the whole CPI and the GDP number are, I think they're BS. Like they include the numbers that they want to include to give them the outcome that they want. Most of the time, it's all political. But it's funny when they can't even get the narrative they want out of the totally controlled narrative numbers. So let's play this clip. This was Rep. Linda Sanchez basically accusing Scott Bessent of being sexist because he tried to correct her lie that prices are rising. Scott Bessent is gay. Can gay men be sexist to women? Is that a thing? I don't know if that's a thing. But here, let's watch this video.
In fact, we've already seen that prices
Oh, hold on, I gotta fix my audio on my end. Okay, here we go. Can you guys hear this all right?
In fact, we've already seen that prices are rising on many everyday goods.
No,
And they-
Congresswoman,
Please
today,
don't interrupt
today we
me.
had
The
a
time is mine.
0.1
The
increase.
time is mine. Please don't interrupt
And-
me.
and
I will
Wal-
ask you
Wal-
questions and I will grant you an
Wal-
opportunity to answer them, but please don't interrupt me during my time.
With pleasure.
Okay, I know I'm a woman, but please try to limit yourself to answering my questions. No, I'm sorry, but we get talked over all the time, and I don't want that to happen at this hearing. In fact, we've already.
God, what a bitch. I'm so sassy. I want to play that part again.
Please try to limit yourself to answering.
With pleasure.
Okay, I know I'm a woman, but please try to limit yourself to answering.
So stupid. These Democrats are so annoying. Anyway, I love that clip, so I want to play that. But let's go into some of the immigration riots and whatnot. This is what Trump said on Truth Social this morning. If our troops didn't go into Los Angeles, it would be burning to the ground right now, just like so much of their housing burned to the ground. The great people of Los Angeles are very lucky that I made the decision to go in and help. And just so many interesting little tidbits around the protest stuff. Well, first of all, there are like protests all over the country yesterday. I know Ash was sharing some stuff from Denver, like right outside of where the courthouse is. I'm in Baltimore right now, so I know there's a protest here. I didn't see it or anything, but I saw reports of it. They're happening in all the major cities. And then this weekend, June 14th, they're going to be all over the country as well. There's that like nokings.org or whatever that's organizing all these protests. So just stay alert, guys. Be safe. If you plan to attend, I'm going to avoid them as much as possible. But this was hilarious. There are more U.S. troops in L.A. than in Iraq and Syria. There are more U.S. troops deployed to Los Angeles than in Iraq, Syria. There are 4,800 activated Guard and Marine personnel in L.A. compared to the 2,500 troops in Iraq and 1,500 in Syria. And when you think about it, the whole point of the military is to defend the homeland, right? Like that's like their core principle, their guiding principle. And so isn't this the way it should be? Like this is probably the first time maybe ever that we've had this situation, at least in my lifetime, where we've had more troops here domestically than, stationed domestically than overseas. But this is awesome. This is how it should be. This is what Trump wanted the whole time, back in his first term, to bring the troops home. Kind of nuts, but yeah, I love that they actually put that out there. This is from CNN. Trump is hyping a case to use American troops on domestic soil, posing as a wartime leader. Love that. President Donald Trump is building a political case to use American troops not in a foreign conflict, but at home to bolster his mass deportation sweeps. But California Governor Gavin Newsom, the Democrat who heads the state leading resistance to a president with a taste for unchecked power, says a long-feared moment of peril is at hand for U.S. democracy. In an emerging campaign with stark constitutional implications, Trump is conjuring a narrative of invasion and insurrection. See how they use that wording there? He's exaggerating disorder in the relatively contained unrest, looting, and protests in Los Angeles, and he's implying that to keep the country safe, he's ready to deploy soldiers across the country. Trump repeatedly and falsely claimed on Tuesday that if he had failed to dispatch the National Guard and U.S. Marines to Los Angeles, it would be burned to the ground. The president also warned that he was looking beyond Los Angeles as other cities and states, especially those run by Democrats, brace for expanded sweeps against undocumented migrants and protests that could follow. If we didn't attack this one very strongly, you'd have them all over the country, Trump said. But I can inform the rest of the country that when they do it, if they do it, they're going to be met with equal or greater force that we met right here. So, and then Trump's talking about liberating Los Angeles and whatnot. It's just interesting narrative deployments on both sides. And, when it comes to these narrative wars, like both sides could be lying to kind of spin things from the truth. One side could be telling the truth, the other side could be lying. It's pretty difficult for both sides to be telling the truth. That almost never happens. It's not possible. So with this one, they're saying that Trump is conjuring this narrative of invasion and insurrection, and he's been doing that since day one, and he's been doing it since his first term. And that's true. Like we have, they say like 20 million undocumented immigrants in this country. It's got to be well over that. It's probably in the 40 millions, 50 millions. Who even knows what the exact number is? It's impossible to know. But that's an invasion. 40 million people in our country that should not be here legally. They're not American citizens. That's insane. That is invasion. And then the insurrection aspect of this is when you have American citizens that are assisting in that invasion. That's the insurrection part, and that's treason. And I love that Trump is not mincing his words when he's using that rhetoric. Because these politicians, these Democrat politicians, if they're aiding and abetting these people, then yeah, they should. That's an actual insurrection. That's not the insurrection, the fake insurrection that they tried to charge Trump with. Inciting the insurrection, trying to get him off the ballot. That's BS. This is an actual insurrection. These people are not here. They're defending criminals and non-citizens of this country. It's absurd. But I want to show this this video if I can find it. I forgot to pull it up, but it was Karen Bass yesterday. She came out and said she implemented a curfew. I'm pretty sure. I also know there were some meme videos made out of this. This was last night, 16 hours ago. Play this clip quick.
City know that I have declared a local emergency and issued a curfew for downtown Los Angeles to stop the vandalism, to stop the looting. Many businesses have now been affected by or vandalized. Last night, there were 23 businesses that were looted. And I think that if you drive through downtown LA, the graffiti is everywhere and has caused significant damages to businesses and a number of properties. So my message to you is, if you do not live or work in downtown LA, avoid the area. Law enforcement will arrest individuals who break the curfew, and you will be prosecuted. Hundreds of officers from police and sheriff departments from across the region and state are working alongside LAPD through a unified command structure. The curfew will be in place tonight from 8 p.m. until 6 a.m.
So what happened? Because I thought she said everything was peaceful and they didn't need Trump to be here. Why would you need to implement a curfew if there was no issues? Here's what she said, I think just the day before.
Preparing for this. Now to Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. Hi, Mayor. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi.
Hi. So what are
having
you
me
and
on.
your police force? I know how busy you are preparing for the hours ahead. What are you expecting on that front?
Well, I just have to say that if you dial back time and go to Friday, if immigration raids had not happened here, we would not have the disorder that went on last night. I will tell you that it is peaceful now, but we do not know where and when the next raids will be. That is the concern, because people in the city have a rapid response network. If they see ICE, they go out and they protest. And so it's just a recipe for pandemonium.
She said they have a rapid response network for the protests. I mean, it's not surprising. I just can't believe she admitted it. Like let me play that part again.
If they see ICE, they go out, because people in the city have a rapid response network. If they see ICE, they go out and they protest. And so it's just a recipe for pandemonium that is completely unnecessary. Nothing was happening here. Los Angeles was peaceful before Friday. When we find out when and where the other raids are going to happen, that will determine how the police respond.
It's just absurd. Like, there was no issues here until ICE came to get rid of the illegal aliens. Well, yeah, but they're not just going to not come do that when a majority of them reside in California. I shouldn't say that because I have no idea if that's an accurate statement, but it's just stupid. These people are so stupid. But this ongoing battle here of Gavin Newsom, Trump, and all this rhetoric, like Trump says, yeah, he's incompetent, he should be arrested, and all these things. Newsom sued the Trump administration, and the defendants are Trump, Pete Hegseth, and the DOD. And Gavin requested a TRO to get them to remove a temporary restraining order to prevent them from operating within California. A lot of rhetoric was going on yesterday about how Gavin Newsom lost this case, and that's not really true. What actually happened is that Donald Trump and the defendants, they submitted a request for 24 hours to file their response to the motion. Like, they want to file their own response brief. They asked for 24 hours, and the defendants were granted that request. The judge said, okay, we'll give you 24 hours. So there hasn't actually been a determination on who won this specific case and what's going to happen. Regardless, whoever wins, it's going to get appealed, and it's going to eventually get up to the Supreme Court. And I have to imagine that Trump is going to win this case. But as of now, we haven't seen that request or that response filed, as far as I'm aware. Actually, okay, the requesting due date of 11 a.m. on June 25th. What? Let me see, if you guys bear with me, I can actually check right now if that's been filed. I'm just going to log into my Pacer real quick. So hold for processing. That's not the right password. There we go. Okay. Okay, I can't remember my password, so never mind. I'll check later. But anyway, this will be an interesting one to watch play out because it's another one of those constitutional. You know, where's the constitutional boundary for presidential authorities, states authorities, especially when it comes to military stuff. I just think that stuff is so interesting. So waiting on that, we had this statement from the president of Mexico, the Senate of Mexico president, sorry, Gerardo Fernandez Noronha, is now calling for Mexico to reclaim parts of the United States, citing an 1830 map. You just got to check this out. Look at that. He's holding up the map there. Like, this is Mexico in 1830. And so there, is he saying he wants to, like, take all of this? That's hysterical. Yeah, California's in there. Texas, Nevada, looks like Utah. Not sure what other states. But anyway. Oh, dang it, I hate when they don't speak English and I have to read it. But I'll do it. I was at Trump Tower when President-elect Donald Trump said, who was 16 days away from taking office, for the first time as president, about to assume the role. And I said, yes, we'll build the wall. Yes, we'll pay for it. But we'll do it according to the map of Mexico from 1830. This is what the United States was in 1830. And this was part of Mexico. It wasn't all Mexico, if you can see. Maybe a third. At least a quarter of the North American territory was part of. I would love to see them try to do this. Until 1846, we were stripped of these territories. Because you're a bunch of pussies. We were settled there before the nation. And you know what? It's kind of funny saying this because there were some protesters and some videos of like, we were here first. You know, this was originally our land. That argument. I mean, you lose the war, you don't get to keep the land. It's kind of how things work. I'm not going to play the rest of that video because I don't want to read the rest of this BS. But yeah, I just thought that was funny. We have this DeSantis and Grady Judd. And man, DeSantis just looks, he always just looks constipated or something. Like, look at that face.
So that there's no misunderstanding today, this is a peaceful protest. This is a riot. We can tell the difference. The governor can tell the difference. Our law enforcement officers can tell the difference. In the event you didn't get that, let me show you something. This is a peaceful protest. This is looting. If you loot, the next thing you can try to steal is something off of your food tray at the county jail, because you're going to jail. That's a guarantee. And we're going to enjoy taking you down there.
I will also say, give a little warning. There's a lot of old videos floating around. I actually think it was Brian Stelter yesterday who posted, and maybe I even read it on the show yesterday, posted about, you got to be careful what you see online, because there is a lot of old stuff being floated around there. And that's the one bad thing about social media, is there's so much clickbait everywhere. Like last night, scrolling through, it came across this video that this lady posted this, Mila Joy. Walmart in Philadelphia looted. Like no other context, making it look like it happened just recently because of these protests. But this is a video from back in 2020. And like went back and found the actual same video from 2020. So there's a lot of that going around. So I would be a little careful, a little more diligent. I've fallen victim to it too. And the reason I said that is because I wouldn't be, this is a video I could expect to see from previously, and I wouldn't be surprised if somebody said like, well, that was from 2020. The principle still stands though, so that's not as bad. Anyway, here's a good one from this Elix. I wonder how he says his name. Alex with an E. Michelson. He's an anchor for Fox, host of California's statewide political show. The Issue Is, probably a raging liberal. Definitely after reading this. Important context about Los Angeles. 99% of the city is not in chaos. We've seen some peaceful protests and some ugly, unacceptable instances of violence in small pockets of the region, but the overwhelming majority of areas are not currently seeing similar scenes. So my question to you guys is does that make it justified? 99% of it isn't an issue, just the 1%. Guy's an idiot. This is a great video I wanted to play too. These horse cops. I'll speed it up a little bit. Don't need the audio. My uncle rides horses, owns horses. He actually just mounted shooting. It's pretty badass. But every now and then I get to go take the kids out there and go riding. Actually, I haven't done it in a while, but horses are awesome. Okay, but watch this cop down here at the front. Look at that. Just rips the flag out of his hands. And this is something, they should make a law about this. Like if you're protesting and you're going to be waving a foreign country's flag during the protest, there should be prison time for that. Like that should not be allowed. To me, that's a form of treason too. Like how is that? How can anybody justify protesting the United States of America on behalf of another country? There should be a punishment simply for that, because all you see in these protests are foreign flags. It's terrible. The King Bee, not on YouTube anymore. We are on YouTube. We're just on a different YouTube account because our one got a strike, so we can't stream there till Friday. So yeah, we're on our old. I think if you search Badlands Media Clips, you'll find us live over there right now. Liz Jane, exactly, John. They declared war on America holding their Mexican flag. They were screaming, though, can't remove us from our own country of Mexico, claiming California is Mexico. Yeah, these people are idiots. Absolutely idiots. And it's just, the longer this stuff goes on, the more the polling, if you believe the polls, but just the sentiment from either side, like it's going to go towards Trump. Because there's no sane person out there that actually wants like illegal immigrants to have all the same rights as you. Like people who don't come here, the people that are looting, stealing, they get all these financial benefits. They don't have to pay the taxes and whatever. Nobody actually wants that. But as long as the media and the Democrats are like, oh, we need to be in support of illegal immigration, you're going to have all these virtue signals out there, but they're just full of shit. They're only doing it for social media clout. Swear jar. I hope somebody's keeping track of my swear jar because I don't have my spreadsheet up on this computer. I have no idea what I'm at. I got to be at like $15 by now after this week. Anyway, here's what Kim Kardashian had to say. And I know you all care about what Kim Kardashian has to say. Hold on, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, man. That hurts when you have to sneeze and you can't. Went away. When we're told that ICE exists to keep our country safe and remove violent criminals, great. But when we witness innocent, hardworking people being ripped from their families in inhumane ways, we have to speak up. We have to do what's right. Growing up in LA, I've seen how deeply immigrants are woven into the fabric of the city. They are our neighbors, friends, classmates, coworkers, and family. No matter where you fall politically, it's clear that our communities thrive because of contributions of immigrants. We can't turn a blind eye when fear and injustice keep people from living their lives freely and safely. No. Like it shouldn't be, it's not a political issue to not want non-citizens to be in this country and leech off of us. That's just not how it works. But of course, that's what I'm talking about, virtue signaling right there. Oh, dang it. I think I had this out of place. this next one. Oh, let me move these real quick because there's like 2 more immigration stories I wanted to get to, and then we'll get to a bunch of other random stuff. Okay, so we have this. The Trump administration is to begin transferring thousands of illegal immigrants to Guantanamo Bay. About time. Trump admin is set to begin transferring thousands of illegals to Guantanamo this week, with more than 9,000 individuals currently being vetted for relocation, according to documents. Transfers could begin as early as Wednesday, with the plan calling for individuals to be held there on a short-term basis before being deported to their countries of origin. Officials say the purpose is to relieve overcrowding at domestic detention centers, but placing detainees at the same site once used to house terrorism suspects also sends a clear message intended to deter future illegal immigration. The documents indicate that the DHS may carry out the transfers without notifying the migrants' home countries in advance. About 800 Europeans are under consideration for relocation, including more than 100 Romanians, 170 Russians, and at least 1 Austrian. In a February court filing, the Justice Department stated that the use of the facility was for short-term staging, not indefinite detention. The base held 178 migrants in February before the administration abruptly transferred a group of Venezuelans later that month. The move would mark a dramatic expansion from the roughly 500 illegal immigrants temporarily held at the U.S. naval base since February, represents a major step towards fulfilling President Trump's January plan to use the facility to detain up to 30,000 people. You know, and this is something that we probably should have a little discussion about. Oh, did I just rip that out? Okay, whoops. You know, we've always looked at what's going on at Gitmo, the expansion. We've been looking at that for a long time. You know, Obama tried to shut it down. There was a declining terrorist prisoner population there. It's down to like 30 something and declining, but yet they're still expanding it. They're adding a courtroom. They're adding filing rooms and all sorts of stuff, detention rooms. We've always thought that this was like for, maybe what I say we a little liberally there, because I don't necessarily know if I fully was on that train. I mean, it was for something. We don't know what it was for. But the community speculated it's like for the deep state and all these evil people that we're going to be putting there and doing these trials and executing them all. And some people even say that's been going on this whole time. Never been on board with that. But what if the whole time it was just for the immigration? Trump knew he was going to be having this mass deportation and wanted to rapidly remove these people. And this was the plan all along. This is why he expanded it. Because the Epstein stuff is looking like a rug pull. A lot of these other things that we were hoping to get in terms of justice and accountability kind of looking like a rug pull. I don't know. I think maybe it was for the illegal immigration the whole time. And this is how they're going to get them out. Need a holding zone. Eleanor 2000 says, brilliant take by observing consciousness. Understand the play. You don't impose martial law on a free nation. You let a captured system tear itself apart until the people demand it. So let them march. Yeah. Can't wait for Gitmo for 24/7 courtroom TV for these riots. Yep. I mean, it's just interesting. But the way he's using Gitmo right now, considering we haven't seen the justice and accountability we've been hoping for from the elite people, maybe the whole time it was for immigrants anyway. And he's planning for this. That would allude to more planning than I've personally thought of. Bravis says rug pulls might also get rug pulled. It's like a rugception. Rug pulling a rug pull. The Trump admin tells immigration judges to dismiss cases in tactic to speed up arrests. A recent memo to immigration judges obtained by NBC News provides fresh insight into how the Trump administration is pulling off a new tactic, dismissing pending immigration cases, then immediately moving to arrest the immigrants. That is part of its bid to quickly increase the number of immigrants it is detaining. In the memo, the Justice Department instructs immigration judges who report to the executive branch and are not part of the independent judiciary to allow Department of Homeland Security lawyers to make motions to dismiss orally and then move quickly to grant those dismissals rather than allow immigrants the 10-day response time that had been typical. Oral decisions must be completed within the same hearing slot on the day testimony and arguments are concluded, says the memo. It also tells judges that no additional documentation or briefing is required to grant the dismissals. Once the cases are dismissed, the immigrants in question may be put in expedited removal proceedings, which means they can be deported without a chance to make their cases for asylum before immigration judges. The memo notes that people in expedited removal proceedings are subject to mandatory detention, can be taken into custody by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which falls under DHS. This is an interesting move. Like, people with pending cases, they want to dismiss them and then immediately detain them under like the new process and get them out of here. It's kind of brilliant when you think about it. Cian Stewart, if John doesn't want to be fake and gay, he'll play Everyday People as an outro. I don't even know what that song is. Everyday People. Gitmo was a YMCA in 1914 and Trump's like the song. Coincidence? Buck Wayne, maybe, but also there's like a bajillion YMCAs all over the world, so you don't know which one he's alluding to. Just saying. While the law remains, hold on, Flag Protection Act. The Flag Protection Act of 1968, this is from a Liz Jane in the chat, once criminalized acts like mutilating, defacing, or burning the flag without penalties up to $1,000 fine or 1 year in prison. The Supreme Court struck down these provisions as unconstitutional, citing free speech. While the law remains in U.S. code, it's unenforceable at the federal level. R.S. Stanley, John, run your show in a way we can start it at the beginning, even if you're still live. I have no control over how Rumble does that, so that's not up to me. But you can go watch on YouTube or Twitter to start at the beginning. Anyway, okay, let's go to, I thought this was kind of funny. You know, the big, beautiful bill. Speaker Johnson says, it's clear the American people support our one big, beautiful bill. Republicans in Congress will get this done and deliver real relief for the American people. What he's quote tweeting here is Scott Bessent. And he has new polling shows overwhelming support for the one big, beautiful bill. And he has 4 poll numbers here, okay? 82% of Americans support a 15% tax cut for working families. Fair. I support that as well. 81% support increasing the child tax credit to $2,500. Great. 77% support no tax on tips. Agreed. Love it. 74% support no tax on overtime pay. Awesome. This is what common sense looks like. But this is 4 items in a 1,000 plus page bill. And they're like, oh yeah, Americans overwhelmingly support this bill because these 4 items out of the 1,000 pages. Like, this is a little absurd. This, I mean, I know it's politics, it's propaganda. They're trying to get this thing passed. They want to say they have support for it, but this is not. This doesn't mean anything. This means nothing. This is like, okay, I like the trailer to the Cats movie, so I love the whole movie. No, that's not how shit works. I don't know why I said that. It was a Rumble glitch today. That's all. It's a music video. The Trump dance. I'm trying to read the chat here. PJ Corden. Yes, you do, John. Naturally, Nikki. I call bullshit. Maybe. Rumble must have done something because I was able to catch up during Badlands the other day. It might have been my fault because so the Badlands Daily goes live using Rumble Studio. We're trying to use that more. And then I also use it, but I have to wait till their show is done. And normally I set it up from my computer, but today I did it from my phone. So it's possible I didn't have a certain thing selected. So I do apologize. That could have been my fault for sure. And no, I'm not a Cats guy, ghost based. So when I was reading this, I was going to post that. And so I just Googled what's the worst movie of all time. And apparently Cats from 2019 is, according to Google AI or whatever, Brave browser AI, is the worst movie ever. And so that's the one I chose. I've never actually seen the movie. I pinky promise. So my bad, guys, about this is my bad. Okay, let's go to this. 4 former Biden aides, I guess in assistance, not like the STD, to testify in House probe of health cover-up. 4 senior aides to Joe Biden's White House have agreed to testify before the House Oversight Committee as part of its investigation into how extensively Biden's declining health was concealed during his presidency. Neera Tanden, former director of domestic policy. I'm excited to see that one. Anthony Bernal. I'm excited to see all these, actually. Ashley Williams. Annie Tomasini. Those should be interesting. Very interesting. They've also been, they've requested Anita Dunn. That'll be a good one. I mean, literally all of these are going to be good. Just to get to the bottom of what's going on and get that story out there. Then this came out today. Biden's use of AutoPen far more widespread than previously reported watchdog finds. Joe Biden relied on the mechanical AutoPen to sign official government documents far more frequently and under more questionable circumstances than previously known, according to analysis by the Oversight Project. During Biden's 4 years in office, the AutoPen was used to sign thousands of presidential proclamations, EOs, pardons, commutations. They identified at least 3 distinct mechanical versions of Biden's signature used throughout his term. I want to get a list of these. In 2023, 16 out of 24 EOs were signed mechanically. That's crazy. In 2024, the rate rose to 14 out of 19. During Biden's final 20 days in office, all 14 executive orders were AutoPen signed. Oh my God, that's huge. That's the 13964 or 961 partial revocation. Remember this one, the huge Devo proof? This is auto-penned. That's crazy. That's huge. Okay. And I mean, I would love to see the stats on okay, were all of the continuations of Executive Order 13848 and all those big executive orders, were every one of those auto-penned? Because that makes things even more interesting. I'm gonna have to see. I'm gonna look into this later. That just got my jimmies rustled. Okay, Rep. LaMonica McCliver indicted over confrontation at ICE facility. And that's Alina Hobb on the left. The McCliver is the one on the right, for those who did not know. The charges stem from an incident during a May oversight visit to the facility where McCliver, I have no idea, is that an I or an L? I'm just going to call her McDonald's. Where McDonald's Newark Mayor Ras Baraka, another New Jersey Democrat, arrived as a protest was underway. Baraka, who was then running for governor, was arrested for trespassing, but later had the charges dropped. According to the indictment, McDonald's physically intervened during Baraka's arrest, shouting, "Hell no." I mean, you guys probably already saw the video. She was indicted. 2 of the counts carry up to 8 years in prison. The third one carries a 1-year maximum. Baller. And this is what McDonald's had to say about it. Statement: the facts of this case will prove I was simply doing my job and will expose these proceedings for what they are, a brazen attempt at political intimidation. This indictment is no more justified than the original charges and is an effort by Trump's administration to dodge accountability for the chaos ICE caused and scare me out of doing the work I was elected to do. But it won't work. I will not be intimidated. The facts are on our side. I will be entering a plea of not guilty. I'm grateful for the support of my community. I look forward to my day in court. I look forward to that day as well. And I'm pretty sure it's all on video, so you're kind of screwed. It is an I. Okay. MacGyver. That's a better one. Yes, there is a DPH tonight. It will be scheduled after this show because we also use Rumble Studio for it. And yeah, guys, I know if you want to watch the replay thing and start at the beginning, go to our Twitter or the YouTube Badlands Media Clips, and you can do it there. It was my mistake today. Won't happen again. GM announces $4 billion investment to expand U.S. vehicle production. I think that's pretty baller. GM continues to lead in full-size pickups and SUVs and is now the second largest EV seller in the U.S., with Chevrolet ranked as the fastest-growing EV brand. The company's capital spending is projected to remain between $10 billion and $12 billion annually through 2027. Always love hearing stories about more investments in the United States. Speaker Johnson is going to go to Israel to address the country's parliament in late June. Going to go address his handlers. He's very excited. He said it's one of the highest honors of his life to address the Israeli Knesset at this fateful moment. You know, addressing your country that you're from, that you're leaving the house of, that should probably be, one of the highest honors of your life. But I just wanted to show this because I saw Ghost in the chat. And anyway, here's another good clip from today. This was Hegseth. They've been testifying in front of one of the committees. Check this out.
I'm disappointed that you are instead focusing on a class of ships named for civil rights leaders. You chose Pride Month to direct the Navy to rename a ship named for Navy veteran Harvey Milk. This committee will continue to pursue serious work in the interests of American national security, and I ask you to choose to join us in that endeavor.
Senator, we're not interested in naming ships after activists. That's the stance we're taking.
I'm disappointed that you are instead focusing.
Oh, I missed the last part.
Interested in naming ships after activists.
Love it. Not interested in naming ships after activists. Trump was interviewing with Miranda. So Miranda Devine is starting her own show, and she apparently gets to interview Trump for her first interview. Kind of BS if you ask me. I feel like we've been doing this for a few years now. We should probably get an interview at some point, but whatever. Not complaining. She does good work sometimes. This is what he had to say.
But it did happen. And interestingly, because it happened, this is somehow a much more consequential presidency than it would have been if we just went on for another 4 years. It's much more, I mean, it's not me saying it, it's everybody saying it. And I'm able to do things now that I wouldn't have been able to do because the previous president and presidency was so bad that anybody looks good.
What sort of things can you do now that you couldn't do?
Well, as an example, I can be stronger on an attack on Los Angeles.
Yes.
Okay. I think bringing in the National Guard 4 years ago or 8 years ago would have been more difficult. But they see what happens, you know, and I didn't do that. I would let the governors run it. And I always said that they're not running it right. They're not doing it right. I mean, what they're doing is so bad. I mean, they're doing such a bad job. And I said, if I ever have a crack at it, if I ever have a shot at it again, and I won the election by a landslide. I mean, we have a crack, and we have a big mandate because of that. When you win all 7 swing states, you win the popular vote, you win everything, you win all the districts by 2,750 to 500.
Yeah.
You know, you sort of have a mandate.
Yeah.
But I said I wouldn't let that happen again. If you look at Minnesota, Minneapolis, where they had the riots, you look all over the place.
Police precinct.
Portland is so bad.
Yes.
Portland is just
I love it when he talks about this stuff, when he goes back to the rigged election and how important it is, and not just another 4-year election type quote there. And he's able to do things now that I wouldn't have been able to do. That part of it, I'm not sure I agree with because, considering this is his technical last term in office, his first term, he had to be much more political. He needed to win the election legitimately, and so I think he did do some things like go in line with the COVID narrative. Some of these decisions he made around the George Floyd protests. This time he doesn't have to worry about that because, as far as we're aware, even though there's some rumors and talk out there that Trump loves playing with about him running in 2028, it's probably not going to happen. But who knows? I could be wrong. But he doesn't have to worry about politics anymore. He doesn't have to worry about optics. He can just do what needs to be done and not worry about that, not worry about elections. So elections are fake and gay anyway. Last video for you guys today, kind of a funny one. This lady shows up. This judge kicks a woman out of online court hearing after signing on late and making a sandwich.
Asia who?
Outer Bridge.
And why are you so late?
Because I have a paper right here that shows my court started at 1 o'clock. But then when I called, right here, if you can look.
I don't see 1 o'clock. It looks like I saw 9 a.m.
I had 1 o'clock on one of those papers.
You just showed me a paper, Miss Outerbridge.
Yes, I did. Right. So when I called.
No, we can't talk at the same time.
Well, I apologize for being late. Excuse me.
Stop.
You asked me a question. I'm just trying to answer it.
I know. Put whatever you're trying to prepare down.
I'm trying to be my daughter.
Get your coat. You gotta put your properly dressed on. I am
properly dressed. I have on a t-shirt. I am properly dressed.
Is that a robe?
It's the problem, sir. I'm not even doing that. You asked me a question. I'm answering. My daughter is sick. I had to keep her home from school. I'm just trying to feed her. That is it.
Understandable, but you're in court.
Miss Outerbridge, I'm sorry that your daughter is sick. But again, you're in court, okay? And we're going to treat it as such. I asked
Okay,
for.
I'm properly dressed.
No,
I have
don't
on
talk while we
clothes.
talk.
I have on
Don't,
clothes. I have on
don't.
clothes. I have on
Find us,
clothes.
find us
I
out,
have on
Bridge.
clothes. I have on clothes.
Oh man, I just thought that was so funny. I mean, I feel I get the struggle having the kids and wanting to get them fenced up, but I mean, plan ahead. Come on, that's insane. Anyway, that's all I have for today. There will be a power hour tonight, 10:30 Eastern. Me and Burning Bright should be a fun one, especially now that I got the AutoPen thing. A couple Rumble rants here. We'll go through these. Lee Walden. Hi, John. I sent a rant a few times asking you to pursue your AI skills to place a camera in the ball. Consider the view of looking outside from the catcher's mitt to the bat, golf ball, football, be the ball. Interesting. Talking about the VO3 stuff. I'll play around with that. Lee Walden. Appreciate the rant, man. Good to see you. And again, a new Truth Social feature is out. Truth TV. The only thing missing is Badlands. Please check it out. Stay the course, brother. Let's swing for the fences. Time for the boss. Yeah, we've they don't let just anybody stream to Truth TV. As far as I'm aware, it's like mostly Who You Know and Con Inc. So we're not good enough, but we'll keep plugging away. Maybe someday. CM Meadows, per Tom Homan, Friday's ICE raid was the result of a criminal investigation and not a typical raid. Let's check that out. Hold for processing. Borders are Tom Homan clarified today that the so-called ICE raids which sparked the riots were tied to criminal investigations. That's a little more interesting. I did see this, but I'll play it because I don't think I've showed it on the show yet.
Were there public safety threats in the fashion district and at that Home Depot in these raids we've seen?
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. The fashion district wasn't an immigration raid. It was the service of 3 criminal warrants at locations based on a large criminal conspiracy that ICE have been investigating. That has to do with money laundering, tax evasion, and customs fraud, where a company underdeclared over $80 million in goods, failed to pay $17 million in fees, and it's part of an overall conspiracy on numerous businesses that they believe that some of this money is being laundered in Mexico and Colombia to fund cartel activity. So this was a criminal investigation that they all responded to in the beginning. That's how it all started. But the facts never got out. Even though we put the facts out, the media didn't cover it. They just said immigration raids, we're separating families and all the negative information we hear all the time. We took a lot of bad people off the street last couple of days. A Vietnamese national that attended a graduation party was kicked out and came back and killed 2 young people, two young Americans. We arrested a child predator. We arrested someone for sexual misconduct. Someone arrested for committed armed robbery. We arrested numerous gang members. What ICE did the last couple of days is make Los Angeles safer by taking public safety threats off the street.
You know, that does make the whole situation a little more interesting if you think about it. So they're going after cartel money laundering and other, conspiracy stuff linked to cartel activity. And then you look at the response from the government and the paid protesters. Like, is the cartel paying people to protest? Is the government defending it because they're also on the payroll of the cartel? Very possible. And the whole thing is like a shift. The narrative, obviously, that they want out there is that it's an anti-immigration protest. They don't want to say that they're defending the cartel, but it would fit what's going on. That's pretty interesting. Keith O'Hagan says, I think we patriots will realize the current government is really a propaganda marketing tool for corporations when Mike Lindell comes out with My Rug with special Gaza stitching, promo code BB. You know what? Badlands needs to start selling rugs in our merch. I'm gonna talk to our team, and we're gonna start selling the Badlands rug. So stay tuned. Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. Y'all hit that thumbs up, and I will see you guys tonight on the Power Hour. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Don't forget all the other shows on Badlands too. Altered State tonight, Shipwreck Show. I don't even know what else we got going on. Hold on, let me pull up my schedule here. Yeah, Shipwreck Show tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, Altered State at 9 p.m. Eastern, and then the DPH at 10:30. So we'll see y'all later. You guys have a great rest of your day.
Let's get started.
That's what she said.
Oh, that's real good.
Why they stopping me? Stopping me.